Howdy boys and girls, I'm Francis Fecteau, your host, for another Libation wine video. This week we're going to talk about closures and containers and why you shouldn't always be fooled by what that wine comes in. A lot of people have a wrong idea about box wine or screw cap. I'm going to show you how to get through all that and find yourself a sweet, delicious, bargain price, tasty beverage.
I like my town with a little drop of poison. Nobody knows they're lining up to go insane. I'm all alone. I smoke my friends down to the filter.
It's unfortunate, but a lot of people think boxed wines are garbage. Matter of fact, they equate any unusual closure or container as not being a top quality wine. Some people are just married to the cork. That's the way it is. Don't get me wrong, corks have their place, but you know, the same rules that I outlined in our first video, where I talked about reading the label and paying attention to alcohol, apply when you're buying any wine. So in other words, what we're looking for is specifics. Exhibit A. This is a lovely little red wine from southern France, Languedoc-Roussillon area. It's called Libation. When you take a look at the box, they give you all sorts of details. They're very specific about where the wine's from, a very specific region called the Côte Ventoux. And then they give you all sorts of detail about the grape flavors, the varieties, and the alcohol on the other side. This is giving you a lot of valuable information. Basically what you're getting here is a high quality wine, 4 bottles to a box for about $20. On the other hand, we have this little gem. When you take a good close look at the label, you see it's 100% grape wine, good to know. And you also see it has natural delicious flavors, whatever that means. But you don't also see any sort of indication that this is from anywhere. No California, no Arizona, no New Mexico. Nothing specifically other than the odd freshness date on the bottom of the box. This isn't telling you a hell of a lot. So chances are you might want to save this one for the neighbors at the next barbecue or use it to cook with. A lot of people get a little screwy about buying wine, and it's not just box wines that get a bad rap, it's the screw cap wines too. I mean, we've all been through the wine store, we've seen the Annie Greenspring, the Thunderbird, and the rather ubiquitous Carlo Rossi Pisano Red. And so for 20 or 30 years, the American wine consumer saw nothing but stacks and stacks of this, and they got the idea that all screw cap wine was of this particular quality level, which, again, like that one particular box wine we discussed, better left for the neighbors at the barbecue or perhaps cooking with. But in the last 10, 15 years or so, more and more producers are moving to the screw cap for a lot of obvious reasons. My personal favorite closure right here. Always gets you a bottle of fresh wine, always make sure you don't have any spoilage, and let's add this. Look at how easy that is. It's easy access. It's the crotchless panties of the wine world. Always happy. Label's got all the information you could possibly want. Tells you who made it, tells you where it's from, gives you a vintage, tells you the proper alcohol and the regionality. Everything you could possibly want. Okay, the classic closure for most wine bottles is natural cork, and a lot of people love the stuff, and for good reason. The primary reason people use natural cork is because it allows a perfect air exchange between the wine and the outside. Because when you lay wine away to age over time, you want a little bit of air going in and seeping through the cork, and the cork actually allows that to happen. The bad thing about cork is that it's susceptible to failure. If you don't store the wine properly, it dries up, it crumbles. If you don't sanitize the cork properly, it'll infect the wine with fungus that'll make the wine smell like a wet dog or old newspaper or musty flooded basement smells. It's my personal favorite for collectible bottles of wine, but you know, when you do buy wine with natural cork, you willingly accept all the failure rates. The only closure I really have disdain, hatred, complete animosity toward, plastic corks. I understand why winemakers use them. They're cheap, they're accessible, they guarantee no infections in the wine, they guarantee no fungal problems. But you know, if these things go through any sort of mistreatment, they're dried, they're heated, they'll actually start sticking to the bottle and they'll become extremely difficult to remove. And I've seen lots and lots of waiters break corkscrews and, you know, hurt themselves trying to get these things out. And they're not as easy as natural cork. That's this week's episode. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Oui, mais c'est si bon de partir n'importe où, bras dessus, bras dessous, en chantant des chansons. C'est si beau.